Mia's seemingly stable marriage unravels when she discovers her husband, Josh, is entangled in an affair with a colleague, Anna, after receiving a mysterious anonymous letter. As Mia digs deeper, she uncovers a web of betrayal, lies, and financial deception that leaves her questioning the years she dedicated to their relationship. Josh's audacity, Anna's involvement, and the fallout of their actions spark outrage as Mia faces the emotional toll of their infidelity and deceit. With tensions escalating and revelations piling up, the story explores the devastating consequences of betrayal and the choices made in the face of heartbreak. Hey everyone! Today's story is one of those tales that makes you wonder just how well we truly know the people closest to us. Buckle up, because this one is full of twists, heartbreak, and a sprinkle of karmic justice. Let's dive in. It's 2019, a small suburban town outside of Chicago. You know, one of those cookie-cutter neighborhoods where every house looks the same, but people are pretending their lives are wildly different. Meet Mia, a 33-year-old graphic designer who's been married to Josh, a 35-year-old marketing manager, for 7 years. They met in college, back when life was all ramen noodles and late-night study sessions. Mia was the artsy, free-spirited type, while Josh was a straight-laced go-getter opposites attract, right? Now, on the surface, their marriage was, well, it was fine. At least, that's what Mia thought. They weren't the couple that held hands at the grocery store, but they weren't throwing plates at each other either. Comfortable, stable, predictable. But here's the thing about predictable. It can get boring, and boredom has a sneaky way of inviting trouble. Our story kicks off one crisp autumn morning. Mia is sitting at the kitchen table with her cup of coffee, staring at an unopened envelope with her name handwritten on it. Weird, right? People don't send letters anymore. Everything's emails and texts. But this wasn't just any letter. There was no return address, and the handwriting looked off, shaky, almost. Naturally, Mia's first thought was, is this a prank, a scam, or worse? Jury duty spoiler alert, it was none of those. When she finally opened it, her heart nearly stopped. Inside was a single sheet of paper with a short, typed-out message. Your husband is cheating on you. Check his texts. Look for Anna. You deserve better. No signature, no explanation, just those cold, blunt words staring back at her. Now, I don't know about you, but if I got a letter like that, I'd be equal parts furious and suspicious who sends something like this and why. But Mia, she laughed. Yes, laughed. She figured it was some kind of sick joke, Josh, cheating the same Josh who alphabetized their spice rack and spent Saturday mornings fixing the lawnmower. Not likely. Still, the seed of doubt was planted, and once you start doubting, you can't stop. Let's rewind a little to understand why this letter hit Mia harder than she cared to admit. The truth is, their marriage hadn't been all sunshine and rainbows. Josh had been working late, a lot. And not the I'm swamped at work kind of late, but the something came up at the last minute kind of late. He'd also started guarding his phone like it held state secrets. You know the type, screen always face down, passwords suddenly changed, that sort of thing. Mia had asked about it a few times, but Josh brushed her off with excuses. You're overthinking, babe, he'd say, followed by a kiss on the forehead that somehow felt more like a dismissal than reassurance. And Mia, not wanting to be that wife, let it go. But now, with this letter in hand, all those little red flags she'd been ignoring started to look more like billboards. Mia wasn't about to confront Josh right away. No, no, no. If there's one thing she learned from her true crime podcasts, it's that you need evidence, and evidence she would get. That night, while Josh was in the shower, Mia did something she never thought she'd do. She grabbed his phone. Now, before you judge, let's just say curiosity gets the better of all of us sometimes. Of course, it was locked figures. But here's the kicker. Josh had used the same passcode for years. His birthday amateur move. She unlocked the phone and went straight to his messages. At first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Just the usual work group chats and conversations with his mom about their dog's dietary habits. But then, there it was. Anna. The name was buried way down in the chat list, as if Josh hadn't texted her in weeks. Suspicious, right? And when Mia opened the chat, she found nothing. The entire thread had been deleted. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why delete a thread if there's nothing to hide? Exactly. Mia's heart was pounding, but she wasn't ready to jump to conclusions just yet. She checked his photos, emails, even his search history. Nada. It was almost too clean, and that's what bothered her most. Instead of confronting him, Mia decided to play it cool. If Josh was hiding something, she needed him to slip up, so she started paying closer attention, taking mental notes of every excuse, every odd behavior. Meanwhile, she confided in her best friend, Emma, who wasted no time labeling Josh as guilty. "Come on, Mia," Emma said. "Men don't delete texts unless they're up to no good. You've got to catch him in the act." Emma suggested something drastic, installing a tracker app on Josh's phone. At first, Mia hesitated. It felt wrong, invasive. But then she remembered that letter whoever sent it had gone out of their way to warn her, and Mia couldn't ignore it. The next day, while Josh was at work, Mia installed the app. It synced to her phone and would give her access to his GPS location, call logs, and, most importantly, his messages. Was it extreme, absolutely, but desperate times, as they say? All right, folks, this is where things start heating up. Remember that tracker Mia installed on Josh's phone? Well, it didn't take long for it to pay off. A few days later, Mia noticed something odd in the tracker logs. Josh had told her he was working late. Again, but according to the GPS, he wasn't at his office. Nope, he was at a restaurant across town. Not just any restaurant, mind you, but one of those dimly lit, fancy places you'd go for a romantic date, not a business meeting. Naturally, Mia's first instinct was to confront him, but then she stopped herself. She needed more proof, more clarity. So she called Emma, and let me tell you, Emma is the ride-or-die friend we all need in our lives. Emma's response: "Girl, we're going to stake this out. Grab your coat." And that's exactly what they did. Picture this: Mia and Emma sitting in Emma's beat-up car, parked just far enough from the restaurant to stay unnoticed, but close enough to keep an eye on the entrance. It was like a scene straight out of a detective movie, except with less glamour and more anxiety. For what felt like hours, they waited. Mia was jittery, her mind racing with possibilities. What if Josh really was cheating? What if it wasn't Anna, but someone else entirely? Or worse, what if he saw her sitting there like a total creep? But then, just as Mia was starting to lose her nerve, Josh walked out of the restaurant, and he wasn't alone. There she was, Anna. She looked younger than Mia, with a sharp bob haircut and a bright red dress that screamed, "Notice me." They were laughing, and while they weren't holding hands, the body language was telling, you don't lean into someone like that unless there's something more than just colleagues going on. Mia's stomach dropped. This wasn't just paranoia. The evidence was staring her right in the face. But here's where it gets wild. Instead of going their separate ways, Josh and Anna got into the same car, Josh's car, and drove off together. Mia was furious. Heartbroken, yes, but mostly furious. Still, she kept her cool because, let's face it, losing your temper in situations like this rarely works out in your favor. She spent the next few days gathering more evidence. Using the tracker app, she monitored Josh's calls and texts. Sure enough, his messages to Anna weren't just flirty, they were explicit. I won't go into the dirty details, but let's just say Josh wasn't holding back. Mia started documenting everything: screenshots, GPS locations, even photos from their little rendezvous at the restaurant. She was building her case, and every piece of evidence made her feel a strange mix of vindication and heartbreak. And then, one evening, Mia overheard Josh on the phone. He was talking to Anna, and he didn't even bother lowering his voice. The audacity, right? He mentioned something about a weekend trip, just the two of them. That's when Mia decided enough was enough. Mia had her moment planned out. She was going to confront Josh when he got home from work that Friday. She had the screenshots printed out, the tracker logs ready, and even a backup folder of evidence saved to her email, just in case he tried to deny everything. But Friday came and went, and Josh didn't come home. Instead, he texted Mia, "Hey, staying late at the office, don't wait up." Of course, Mia knew exactly where he was. His GPS tracker showed him at a nearby hotel. She was livid, but also determined if he thought he could lie to her face while sneaking around. He had another thing coming. That's when Mia had an idea. Why confront him at home when she could catch him red-handed? Mia didn't go alone. Oh no, she brought Emma along for moral support. Emma, ever the drama enthusiast, came armed with her phone camera ready to record. When they arrived at the hotel, Mia went straight to the front desk. She didn't even need to say much, just dropped Josh's name and played the worried wife card. The receptionist hesitated, but eventually confirmed his room number. Mia's heart was pounding as she rode the elevator. What would she find on the other side of that door? She half hoped she was wrong, that Josh was alone, working on some big project. But deep down, she knew better. When they reached the room, Mia didn't knock. She just turned the handle and found it unlocked. Inside, there was no mistaking what was happening. Josh and Anna were mid-embrace, tangled in the kind of mess you'd never want to walk in on. The look on Josh's face when he saw Mia priceless. He went pale, like he'd seen a ghost. Anna, on the other hand, had the nerve to look annoyed, like Mia was the one ruining her evening. Mia didn't scream or cry. She didn't even throw the stack of evidence she was holding in her hands. Instead, she simply said, "Pack your things and leave the house by tomorrow. We're done." Josh stammered, trying to explain, but Mia wasn't having it. She turned to Anna and added, "Good luck, by the way. He's not worth it." Then she walked out, with Emma in tow, leaving Josh and Anna scrambling to get dressed. On the ride home, Mia felt a strange sense of relief. Sure, her marriage was over, but at least she had her dignity. And thanks to all the evidence she'd collected, she knew she'd come out on top when it came time to settle things legally. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to like, share, and comment below. Your support means the world to us. And hey, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to join our community for more stories like this. All right, so where were we? Ah, yes. Mia had just stormed out of the hotel room, leaving Josh and Anna scrambling to piece together what was left of their dignity. But let's be real, there's no coming back from a moment like that, and Josh's life was about to unravel in ways he never imagined. The next morning, Mia woke up feeling, well, complicated. On one hand, there was a certain satisfaction in knowing she'd taken control of the situation. On the other hand, the reality of what had happened hit her like a freight train. Her marriage, 7 years of her life, was over, but Mia wasn't the kind to wallow. Nope. She had plans. First things first, Mia called a lawyer. If there was one thing she wasn't about to do, it was let Josh walk away with any more than he deserved. During the consultation, she laid everything out: the affair, the evidence, the financial details of their life together. And let me tell you, her lawyer was impressed. "You've got a rock-solid case," he said, flipping through the pile of evidence Mia had compiled. "With this, you'll get a clean divorce and walk away with what's rightfully yours." Hearing those words gave Mia a sense of empowerment she hadn't felt in months. But that wasn't all. Mia wanted more than just a clean break. She wanted to make sure Josh felt the consequences of his actions. While Mia was busy planning her next steps, Josh was in full-blown panic mode. He called, he texted, he even showed up at the house with flowers. Classic, right? "Mia, I made a mistake," he pleaded, standing on the porch with a bouquet of wilting roses. "Please, let's talk. I'll do whatever it takes to fix this." But Mia wasn't having it. She met him at the door, arms crossed, and said, "You didn't make a mistake, Josh. You made a series of choices. Now you get to live with them." With that, she shut the door in his face. Now, here's where things get interesting. You see, Josh wasn't just some anonymous guy. He was well known in their community, a charming, successful professional who everyone seemed to admire. When word got out about the affair, thanks in part to Emma's not-so-subtle social media posts, the public opinion of Josh took a nosedive. Friends, neighbors, even co-workers began to distance themselves from him. Mia, on the other hand, found herself at the center of a wave of support. People she barely knew were reaching out, offering kind words and even invitations to coffee. It was as if the universe was rallying behind her, giving her the strength to move forward. Meanwhile, things weren't going so great for Anna. Remember how she looked so confident and self-assured back at the hotel? Well, that facade didn't last long. As it turned out, Anna wasn't exactly thrilled about the fallout from their little affair. Her colleagues started treating her differently, her reputation took a hit, and the shiny allure of being with Josh quickly wore off when she realized just how much baggage he was bringing to the table. One evening, Josh showed up at Mia's house again, but this time it wasn't to beg for forgiveness. "Anna left me," he admitted, looking more defeated than Mia had ever seen him. "She said this is all too much for her." Mia couldn't help but laugh. "What did you expect, Josh? That she'd stick around after everything blew up? Looks like you're finally reaping what you've sown." Now, here's the moment you've been waiting for, the turning point that changed everything. A few weeks after the hotel confrontation, Mia received a call from her lawyer. The divorce proceedings were moving along smoothly, but there was an unexpected development. Josh had been hiding something. Specifically, he'd been funneling money into a separate bank account, money that legally belonged to both of them. When Mia confronted him about it, Josh tried to deny it, but the evidence was undeniable. This wasn't just about infidelity anymore. It was about betrayal on every level. The discovery reignited Mia's determination to see this through. She worked with her lawyer to ensure that every penny Josh had tried to hide would be accounted for. And guess what? It worked. If you're loving this story so far, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a story like this one. Your support means everything to us. All right, things are really about to explode now. If you thought Josh's life was already falling apart, just wait, because the universe wasn't done teaching him a lesson. After Mia uncovered Josh's hidden bank account, the divorce proceedings shifted into high gear. Her lawyer made sure the judge knew every detail: the affair, the lies, and now the financial betrayal. And let me tell you, the judge wasn't amused. Josh tried to argue his case, claiming the extra account was for emergency savings, but the evidence painted a different picture. This wasn't about being financially cautious, it was about greed and deception. The ruling Mia was awarded a larger share of their marital assets, including the house. Josh was left scrambling, moving into a small rental apartment while Mia finally began to reclaim her life. And here's the kicker: Josh was ordered to pay spousal support. That's right. Not only did he lose the house and his reputation, but he also had to send Mia a check every month. Talk about karma. Now, let's talk about Mia, because this is where her story really shines. After the divorce was finalized, Mia decided it was time to focus on herself. She took a solo trip to Italy, something she'd always dreamed of but never had the chance to do. Wandering the streets of Rome, eating gelato by the Trevi fountain, Mia felt a sense of freedom she hadn't experienced in years. When she returned, she threw herself into her work, channeling her emotions into her graphic design projects. And guess what? Her career took off. Clients loved her creativity and dedication, and soon she was landing contracts with big-name companies. But it wasn't just about work. Mia started going to therapy, exploring her passions, and even picking up hobbies she'd abandoned during her marriage. She joined a local hiking group, started painting again, and made new friends who supported her every step of the way. Mia wasn't just surviving, she was thriving. Meanwhile, Josh was struggling hard. With his reputation in shambles and his finances stretched thin, he found himself isolated. His friends stopped returning his calls, and even his family seemed to distance themselves. One night, in a moment of desperation, Josh showed up at Mia's doorstep. He looked rough, unkempt, exhausted, and visibly shaken. "Mia," he started, his voice trembling. "I know I've made mistakes, I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I miss you, I miss us." Mia didn't even flinch. She crossed her arms and replied, "Josh, the us you miss doesn't exist anymore. You destroyed it the moment you decided to betray me." Josh begged her for another chance, but Mia stood firm. She wasn't about to let him drag her down again. "You need to figure out your own life, Josh," she said, before closing the door. But Josh wasn't done digging his own grave. A few weeks later, Mia got a call from Emma, who had some juicy intel. Apparently, Josh had been trying to rekindle things with Anna. Yes, the same Anna who dumped him after their affair went public. Josh had sent her a series of desperate texts, confessing his love and begging her to take him back. And she screenshot everything and sent it to a mutual acquaintance, who forwarded it to Emma. When Mia saw the messages, she couldn't help but laugh. It was like watching a bad soap opera unfold in real life. But the real shocker came when Mia learned that Josh had lost his job. His boss had found out about the affair and the financial mess he'd created, and decided it was bad for the company's image. Now Josh was unemployed, broke, and utterly alone. For Mia, the final chapter of this saga came one sunny afternoon when she received an unexpected letter in the mail. At first, she thought it might be from Josh, another feeble attempt to win her back. But when she opened it, she realized it was from Anna. The letter was an apology. Anna admitted that she'd been blinded by Josh's charm and hadn't realized the full extent of his lies until it was too late. She apologized for her role in the affair and wished Mia well. Mia was surprised, to say the least. She didn't expect closure to come from Anna, but in a way, it felt fitting. She folded the letter and tucked it away in a drawer, feeling a sense of peace she hadn't felt in a long time. If you've made it this far, you're amazing. Don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. And of course, hit that subscribe button to join our community for more captivating stories like this one. All right, folks, this is it. The moment where everything comes to a head. If you thought things couldn't get any messier for Josh, think again. Because Mia was about to get the closure she didn't even realize she needed. It all started on a rainy Friday evening. Mia had just gotten home from a long day of work when her doorbell rang. She wasn't expecting anyone, so she hesitated for a moment before answering. And there he was. Josh soaked from the rain, holding a box in his hands. "Mia, I need to talk to you," he said, his voice barely audible over the sound of the rain. Mia could have slammed the door in his face. She could have told him to leave and never come back. But something in his eyes stopped her. "Fine," she said, stepping aside to let him in, "but make it quick." Josh sat down at the kitchen table, looking more defeated than ever. He placed the box in front of him and took a deep breath. "Mia, I know I've said this before, but I'm sorry for everything," he began. Mia crossed her arms and leaned against the counter, her expression unreadable. "I don't want your apologies, Josh. I want you to leave me alone," she replied. But Josh wasn't done. He opened the box, revealing a stack of old photographs, letters, and mementos from their years together. "I've been going through our stuff, trying to figure out where I went wrong," he said, his voice cracking, "and I realized I took you for granted. I let my ego and my selfishness ruin what we had." Mia wasn't sure how to respond. Part of her wanted to yell at him, to tell him it was too little, too late. But another part of her felt sad. Not for Josh, but for the life they'd once shared. Josh's confession might have been heartfelt, but it wasn't enough to change the past, and Mia made that crystal clear. "Josh, I appreciate you saying all this," she said, her tone calm but firm. "But it doesn't erase what you did. You didn't just hurt me. You betrayed me over and over again." Josh looked like he was about to cry, but Mia didn't let up. "I've moved on, Josh. I've built a life without you, and I'm happier than I've been in years. You need to do the same," she added. For the first time, Josh seemed to understand that there was no going back. He nodded slowly, his shoulders slumping in defeat. "I'm sorry, Mia," he said one last time before standing up to leave. As he walked out the door, Mia felt a weight lift off her shoulders. This was the closure she hadn't realized she needed, not because Josh apologized, but because she finally got to say everything she'd been holding inside. But the story doesn't end there. Oh no. There's one final twist that brings everything full circle. A few weeks after Josh's visit, Mia received an email from a name she didn't recognize. At first, she thought it might be spam, but when she opened it, she realized it was from Anna. Anna had been fired from her job after the affair became public knowledge, and she was now working at a small boutique in the city. In the email, she explained that she wanted to meet with Mia to apologize in person. Mia was hesitant. What could Anna possibly say that she hadn't already heard? But curiosity got the better of her, and she agreed to meet at a coffee shop downtown. When Mia walked into the coffee shop, she spotted Anna sitting at a corner table, looking nervous. Gone was the confident, put-together woman she'd seen at the hotel. Anna looked tired, her once pristine appearance now replaced with a more humble demeanor. "Thank you for meeting me," Anna said as Mia sat down. Mia didn't say anything, waiting for Anna to explain herself. "I wanted to tell you that I'm sorry. truly sorry," Anna began. "I didn't know the full extent of what was happening between you and Josh, and honestly, I didn't care at the time. I thought I was special, that he loved me, but I was wrong." Anna went on to explain how Josh had manipulated her, promising her a future together while hiding his true colors. She admitted that she'd been naive, blinded by his charm and the thrill of the forbidden. Mia listened quietly, her emotions a mix of anger, pity, and, oddly enough, understanding. "Anna, I appreciate your apology," Mia said finally. "But you have to understand. What you did hurt me more than you can imagine. I don't hate you, but I don't think I can forgive you either. Not yet." Anna nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. "I get it. I needed you to know how sorry I am," she said. The two women parted ways, their conversation leaving both of them with a sense of closure, albeit bittersweet. As the weeks turned into months, Mia continued to thrive. She moved to a new apartment in the city, started teaching graphic design classes, and even adopted a rescue dog named Luna. Her life was far from perfect, but it was hers, a life she'd built from the ground up after losing everything she thought she'd wanted. And Josh, well, last Mia heard, he was still trying to pick up the pieces. If this story has kept you hooked, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories like this. If you thought Mia's life was finally settling into a peaceful rhythm, think again. The next chapter of this story throws one last wrench into the mix, pushing Mia to truly embrace her newfound independence and put her past behind her. One crisp morning, Mia received a phone call she wasn't expecting. It was from Josh's sister, Erica Now. Erica and Mia had always gotten along during the marriage, but they hadn't spoken since the divorce. So, naturally, Mia was curious. "Hey, Mia," Erica began, her tone cautious. "I know it's been a while, but I thought you should know. Josh isn't doing well. He's been drinking a lot, and well, he keeps talking about you." Mia felt a pang of guilt, even though she knew she wasn't responsible for Josh's downward spiral. "Erica, I appreciate you telling me, but there's nothing I can do for him," Mia said firmly. "Josh made his choices. Now he has to live with them." But Erica wasn't calling to ask for Mia's help. "That's not why I called," Erica clarified. I think he needs to hear from you that it's really over. He's clinging to this idea that you might take him back." That conversation left Mia feeling unsettled. She'd already made her peace with the situation, but hearing about Josh's struggles brought back memories she'd worked so hard to bury. After much deliberation, Mia decided to meet with Josh one last time, not to rekindle anything, but to give him the closure he seemed to desperately need. They arranged to meet at a quiet cafe on the outskirts of town. When Mia arrived, Josh was already there, looking worn down and far older than his 35 years. "Mia," he said, his voice filled with a mix of hope and regret. But Mia didn't let him get far. "Josh, I'm only here to say this once," she began, her tone firm but not unkind. "It's over. It's been over for a long time. You need to stop holding on to the past and start looking toward your future." Josh nodded, tears welling up in his eyes. "I know I messed up, Mia. I don't know how to fix it," he admitted. Mia sighed. "You start by forgiving yourself, and then you move on. But you have to let me go, Josh, for both of our sakes." For the first time, it seemed like Josh understood. He thanked Mia, and as they parted ways, she felt a sense of finality wash over her. This was it, the true end of their story. Just when Mia thought life might finally be quiet, a new opportunity presented itself. One of her design clients, impressed by her work, offered her a partnership in a startup tech company. The catch. The position was based in San Francisco. Mia hesitated at first. Moving across the country was a huge step, and she'd just started building a new life in her current city. But the more she thought about it, the more she realized this was exactly what she needed. A fresh start, far away from the shadows of her past. She packed her things, said her goodbyes, and headed west, excited to see what the future held. In San Francisco, Mia found herself surrounded by a vibrant community of creatives and entrepreneurs. The work was challenging but fulfilling, and for the first time in years, Mia felt truly alive. She even started dating again, slowly, cautiously, but with an open heart. One evening, while walking along the Golden Gate Bridge, Mia paused to take in the view. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the city. In that moment, she realized how far she'd come. The pain of her past hadn't disappeared, but it no longer defined her. She was stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace whatever came next. If this story has kept you hooked, give it a like and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories like this one. All right, friends, we've reached the boiling point. Mia thought she had moved on, but as fate would have it, one final twist was about to test her resolve, and this one would challenge everything she'd worked so hard to rebuild. One rainy evening, just as Mia was settling into her new life in San Francisco, she received an unexpected call from Josh's sister, Erica Now. Erica had always been a voice of reason, but her tone this time was different. Urgent, almost panicked. "Mia, I know you've moved on, but Josh needs help," Erica said. "He's been spiraling, and honestly, I'm scared for him. He mentioned you again. I think he's going to do something drastic." Mia's stomach twisted. She had no obligation to Josh, no reason to intervene. But deep down, she knew she couldn't ignore this. Mia agreed to meet Erica back in her old town, even though every step of the journey felt like walking into a storm. She wasn't sure what she'd find, but she steeled herself, knowing this might be the true test of her strength. When she arrived at Erica's house, the atmosphere was heavy. Josh sat in the living room, disheveled and pale, nursing a glass of whiskey. His eyes lit up when he saw Mia, but it wasn't the light of hope. It was desperation. "Mia, you came," he said, his voice hoarse. She stayed standing, keeping her distance. "Erica said you needed help. What's going on, Josh?" Josh launched into a rambling confession. He talked about his regret, his loneliness, and his inability to move forward. "I've lost everything," he said, tears streaming down his face. "The job, the money, Anna, all of it. But losing you, Mia, that was the worst. I don't know how to fix it." For a moment, Mia felt a flicker of sympathy. Josh was broken, no doubt about it, but she couldn't let herself be pulled back into his chaos. "Josh, I'm sorry you're going through this, but I can't be the one to save you," she said, her voice steady. "You need to save yourself. You need to let go of me, of the past. That's the only way you'll ever move forward." Josh looked up at her, a glimmer of realization dawning in his eyes. I don't know how to let go," he admitted. Mia took a deep breath, then said something she never thought she'd say. "Start by forgiving yourself. You can't change what happened, but you can choose what you do next." With that, she stood and walked out the door, leaving Josh with the one thing he truly needed: the truth. As Mia returned to San Francisco, she couldn't shake the feeling that this chapter of her life had finally closed. But then, out of nowhere, she received an email from Anna. "Mia, I know you don't owe me anything, but I need to tell you something. It's about Josh." The email went on to reveal something Mia hadn't expected. Josh had been trying to manipulate Anna even after their breakup, blaming her for his downward spiral and attempting to guilt her into reconciling. Anna ended the email with a simple message. "I see now what kind of person he really is. I hope you've found peace. You deserve it." Mia felt a strange sense of vindication. For so long she had questioned whether she had made the right choices, but this confirmed it. She had done the right thing by walking away, not just from Josh, but from the toxicity that had surrounded her. The experience left Mia with a renewed sense of purpose. She threw herself into her new life in San Francisco, focusing on her career, her passions, and the friendships she had built. One evening, while attending a networking event, Mia met someone who would change her life. His name was Alex, a fellow entrepreneur with a kind smile and an easy laugh. They bonded over their shared love of travel and art, and for the first time in years, Mia felt a spark she thought she'd lost forever. But this time, Mia was different. She wasn't rushing into anything, wasn't losing herself in someone else. She was whole on her own, and Alex was simply a wonderful addition to her already fulfilling life. If this story has kept you on the edge of your seat, don't forget to hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Join our amazing community for more incredible stories, like this one. As Mia settled back into her life in San Francisco, she felt a sense of finality with Josh. Their last meeting had been a mix of closure and heartbreak, but she was certain it was the last page in a book she never wanted to reread. But as life would have it, one final twist was waiting around the corner. It was a quiet Saturday morning when Mia's phone buzzed with a text from Erica. The message was cryptic, but urgent. "Mia, I need to talk to you. It's about Josh, and it's important." Mia hesitated. Did she really want to get pulled back into the orbit of her ex-husband's chaos? Against her better judgment, she called Erica. Erica's voice was frantic. "Mia, I think Josh is in trouble. Real trouble. He's been talking about doing something drastic to fix everything, but it doesn't make sense. He keeps mentioning this opportunity that's going to solve all his problems." Mia's heart sank. She knew Josh had a tendency to act impulsively, especially when he felt cornered. "What kind of opportunity?" Mia asked, her voice cautious. "He wouldn't say," Erica replied, "but he mentioned your name, like you were somehow part of it." Mia felt a chill run down her spine. Whatever Josh was planning, it wasn't going to end well. Unable to shake the feeling that something was seriously wrong, Mia decided to confront Josh one last time. She didn't want to get involved, but she also didn't want to ignore a potential disaster. She found him at a small bar downtown, nursing a drink and looking more disheveled than she'd ever seen him. "Josh," she said, walking up to him, "we need to talk." Josh looked up, surprised to see her. "Mia, what are you doing here?" "Erica told me about your opportunity. What's going on?" she asked, her tone firm. Josh hesitated, then motioned for her to sit. "I've been trying to get a loan," he admitted. "A big one? If I can just fix my finances, I can start over, I can make things right." Mia frowned. "Josh, that's not how it works. Throwing money at your problems isn't going to fix them." But Josh wasn't listening. He went on about a business deal he'd been working on, a risky investment that promised high rewards but had no guarantees. Mia realized that Josh was clinging to a fantasy, a desperate attempt to regain control of his life. "Josh, you need to stop," she said, her voice softening. "This isn't going to end the way you think it will. You need help, not just with your finances. but with everything. Josh looked at her, and for a moment she thought he might actually listen. But then he shook his head. "You don't understand," he said. "I have to do this. I have to fix what I've broken." That night, Mia couldn't sleep. Josh's words haunted her, and she couldn't shake the feeling that he was about to make a terrible mistake. The next morning, she received a call from Erica. "Mia, it's Josh," Erica said, her voice trembling. "He's gone." Mia's heart stopped. "What do you mean, gone?" she asked. "He withdrew all the money from his account and disappeared," Erica explained. "I think he's chasing that deal he mentioned." Mia felt a wave of dread. Josh was on a self-destructive path, and there was nothing she could do to stop him. Days turned into weeks, and Mia tried to put Josh out of her mind. She focused on her work, her new life, and the budding relationship she was building with Alex. But then, out of nowhere, she received an email. The sender was anonymous, but the subject line caught her attention. "You need to see this." Inside was a link to a news article about a failed business scheme, a Ponzi scheme to be exact, and there, buried in the details, was Josh's name. Mia's hands trembled as she read the article. Josh had invested everything he had into a fraudulent business deal, hoping to double his money overnight. Instead, he'd lost it all. The article mentioned that several other investors had been scammed, and authorities were investigating. Josh was listed as a potential witness, but he was nowhere to be found. Mia couldn't believe what she was reading. Josh's desperation had led him into a situation he couldn't escape, and now he was a fugitive in his own way, hiding not just from the law, but from the mess he'd created. Part of her felt angry. How could he let things get so out of hand? But another part of her felt a deep sadness. Despite everything he'd done, Josh was still someone she had once loved. Mia debated whether to reach out to Erica, but ultimately decided against it. She'd done all she could for Josh now. It was up to him to face the consequences of his actions. As she closed her laptop, Mia felt an overwhelming sense of relief. This was the final chapter in her story with Josh, and it was one she wouldn't revisit. If this story has kept you engaged, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. And if you're enjoying our content, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more incredible stories like this one. The fallout from Josh's failed investment scheme rippled far and wide, leaving a trail of disappointment, shattered trust, and irreversible consequences. But for Mia, this was the moment she could finally let go, for good. After learning about Josh's disappearance and the ongoing investigation, Mia made a conscious decision to step away. She had done everything she could to warn him, to offer closure, and even to help him see reason. But his downfall was something only he could own. Josh's story was now a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of what happens when desperation overrides logic, and when the past becomes a prison you can't escape. In San Francisco, Mia's life was blossoming in ways she never thought possible. The partnership with the tech startup she'd joined turned out to be a massive success. Her designs weren't just creative, they were transformative, helping the company secure major clients and making her a sought-after name in the industry. Mia had finally built the life she deserved, free from the shadows of her old relationship. But it wasn't just her career that was thriving. Her relationship with Alex was becoming something special. Not because she needed someone to complete her, but because she had found someone who respected her independence and celebrated her growth. One evening, as they strolled along the Embarcadero, Alex turned to her and said, "You know, I've never met anyone like you. You're strong, smart, and so unapologetically yourself." Mia smiled, feeling a warmth she hadn't felt in years. Despite moving forward, Mia couldn't ignore the loose ends of her past. Erica remained a constant presence in her life, sending occasional updates about Josh. One day, Erica shared some surprising news. Josh had turned himself in. He'd cooperated with the authorities, providing details about the fraudulent scheme he'd been entangled in. While it wouldn't undo the damage, it showed that he was finally taking responsibility for his actions. Mia felt a mixture of relief and sadness. Josh's journey was his own, and while she hoped he would find peace, she knew her role in his story was over. As Mia sat in her new apartment, reflecting on everything she'd been through, she realized just how much she had grown. The woman who once felt trapped in a toxic marriage, who doubted her worth and let guilt hold her back, was gone. In her place stood someone stronger, wiser, and unafraid to take control of her life. Mia's journey wasn't about revenge or proving a point. It was about rediscovering herself. She had learned that letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing to move forward without carrying the weight of the past. And in the quiet moments, when she thought about everything she'd endured, she felt proud. Not of what she had overcome, but of the person she had become. The last scene of Mia's story is a simple but powerful one. She's sitting in a cafe in San Francisco, sipping her favorite coffee and sketching in her notebook. The sun is shining, and there's a sense of peace in the air. A young woman at a nearby table notices Mia's work and strikes up a conversation. "Your designs are beautiful," she says. "Do you teach?" Mia smiles, feeling a spark of inspiration. "I do," she replies, "and I'd love to help you get started." As the camera pans out, we see Mia surrounded by her work, her new community, and a life she built entirely on her own terms. Mia's story is a reminder that life's greatest challenges often lead to its most profound transformations. It's about finding the courage to let go, the strength to rebuild, and the wisdom to embrace a future full of endless possibilities. If Mia's journey inspired you, don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts and what you took away from this story. And of course, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories. Like this one. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to share more with you soon. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay inspired.